You've all heard of China's Great Wall, but Japan has secretly built its own modern Great Wall that almost no one outside the country knows about. The $12 billion concrete giant wasn't built to stop soldiers, but what was it built for? We'll find out in today's video as we uncover the terrifying reality behind Japan's Great Wall, its impossible engineering, and the hidden controversies. Let's start the video. Imagine standing on a beautiful beach looking out at the calm ocean, when suddenly the water vanishes. In March 2011, a monstrous 9.1 magnitude earthquake struck Japan, triggering an apocalyptic tsunami that swallowed entire cities in minutes. Over 15,000 lives were lost because traditional defenses failed completely. As the nation wept, Japanese engineers realized that standard solutions would no longer work. They needed something radical, something never attempted in human history. They decided to build a literal fortress against the ocean itself. This is the story of a massive 400-kilometer-long concrete barrier stretching across the coast. It is a structure so gigantic that scientists call it the Great Wall of Japan. Yet, almost nobody outside of Japan knows it even exists. It was a project born from pure desperation, designed to fight the most dangerous force on planet Earth. The sheer scale of this project defies imagination. To build a wall spanning 400 kilometers, or 250 miles, engineers had to conquer extreme geography, rugged cliffs, and deep bays. The costs skyrocketed to a staggering 1.35 trillion yen, which translates to over 12 billion US dollars. This money did not just come from government pockets. It was a nationwide emergency investment. Tens of thousands of construction workers, heavy machinery operators, and marine scientists were deployed to the Tohoku region. They poured millions of tons of high-grade, reinforced concrete into the coastline. The wall was not just a flat barrier. It was a complex network of interconnected seawalls, some reaching heights of nearly 15 meters. That is as tall as a 5-story building. Workers battled fierce tides and unpredictable weather to place massive concrete blocks capable of dispersing the kinetic energy of killer waves. However, this impossible megastructure quickly triggered a fierce hidden battle between the government and local communities. While engineers promised absolute safety, local fishermen felt deeply betrayed. They claimed the giant concrete barrier completely destroyed their relationship with the sea and blocked their view of the water. Tourism collapsed because the beautiful beaches were replaced by cold, grey concrete walls. Marine biologists raised red flags, warning that the barrier blocked natural water filtration, threatening the survival of valuable sea life. Locals even argued that the wall created a false sense of security, which could make people complacent during the next big disaster. Despite the massive public outcry, the government pushed forward, prioritizing human survival over beautiful views. They built giant gates that automatically close when sensors detect an earthquake, sealing off the land from the deadly ocean in seconds. As the wall rose, engineers faced a terrifying scientific riddle. How do you stop a wave carrying the weight of millions of tons of moving water? If the wall was completely solid and rigid, the sheer hydraulic pressure of a tsunami would snap the concrete like a toothpick. To solve this, Japanese scientists invented a revolutionary modular design using interlocking armor blocks called tetrapods. These massive four-legged concrete structures weigh up to 20 tons each and look like giant children's jacks. Instead of trying to block the ocean's power with brute force, these shapes break the wave's unity, forcing the water to flow around them and fight against itself. This cancels out the deadly kinetic energy before it ever touches the main wall. Every single section of the 400-kilometer barrier was meticulously calculated using advanced supercomputer simulations of historical tsunamis, ensuring that no two segments were identical. Funding this impossible fortress pushed Japan's financial strategy to its absolute limits, sparking intense debates in Parliament. $12 billion is an astronomical sum, equivalent to the entire annual GDP of some small nations. To justify this cost to taxpayers, economists pointed out the catastrophic alternative. The 2011 disaster cost Japan over $210 billion in damages, making it the costliest natural disaster in human history. Spending $12 billion to protect the country's industrial and residential heartland was a calculated insurance policy. However, maintaining this colossal barrier introduces a permanent, expensive burden. The salty marine environment causes aggressive corrosion to reinforced steel inside the concrete. Japan now uses specialized drones equipped with artificial intelligence and thermal cameras to constantly scan the 400 kilometers of concrete, looking for microscopic cracks before the ocean can exploit them. While the engineering triumph is undeniable, the wall has fundamentally altered the psychology of the people living behind it. Generations of Japanese coastal residents lived in harmony with the sea, reading its subtle shifts to predict the weather and catch fish. Today, children are growing up in towns where the ocean is completely invisible, hidden behind a monolithic grey horizon. Some psychologists call this the fortress mentality, where residents feel completely safe but are actually disconnected from reality. If an earthquake strikes and the automatic gates fail to close, people might delay evacuation, falsely believing the wall will save them. This massive structure stands not just as a monument to human engineering, but as a tragic reminder of a nation permanently on guard against a relentless enemy that could strike again at any moment. Beyond the social impact, this massive concrete wall created an unprecedented environmental crisis that scientists are still scrambling to solve. By cutting off the natural connection between the land and the sea, the wall blocked vital nutrients from washing into the ocean. Rivers that once flowed freely into the Pacific were now forced through artificial concrete channels, altering the salinity of coastal waters. This structural change devastated Japan's multi-billion-dollar seaweed and oyster farming industries, which rely on precise environmental balances. Sea turtles found their ancient nesting beaches completely blocked by towering concrete barriers, forcing them to abandon their traditional habitats. In response, Japanese environmental engineers had to innovate yet again. They began designing artificial eco-channels and planting native forests along the rivers to restore the chemical balance of the water running into the sea. To truly understand the genius behind this project, we must look at how it compares to other global defenses. While the Netherlands uses massive movable storm surge barriers like the Maeslantkering, Japan's challenge was entirely different and much more violent. The Dutch face slow-rising North Sea tides, whereas Japan faces sudden, explosive tsunamis triggered by deep-sea earthquakes that travel at the speed of a jet airliner. This meant the Japanese wall could not rely on slow, manual operations. It had to be entirely autonomous. Sensors embedded deep in the Pacific Ocean floor detect tectonic shifts instantly, sending data to the wall's control systems via satellite. Within seconds of an earthquake confirmation, massive steel gates slide shut without any human intervention. This ensures that even if local power grids fail and communications go dark, the barrier remains completely sealed against the incoming wall of water. As the project neared completion, critics began raising a chilling question. Is a 400-kilometer wall actually enough to stop a mega-tsunami. Geologists warn that Earth is entering a cycle of heightened seismic activity, and a future earthquake could potentially trigger waves even higher than 15 meters. If a wave overtopped the wall, the disaster would be catastrophically worse. Water trapped behind the concrete barrier would turn coastal towns into massive, inescapable swimming pools, making rescue efforts nearly impossible. Recognizing this vulnerability, Japan did not rely on the wall alone. They implemented a multi-layered defense system. Behind the Great Wall, they constructed high-elevation escape roads, raised the foundations of residential areas by several meters, and planted massive coastal disaster prevention forests to slow down any water that managed to breach the concrete defenses. Today, the Great Wall of Japan stands finished, a quiet, monumental testament to human resilience and engineering brilliance. It represents a $12 billion gamble that humanity can outsmart and outlast the raw, destructive fury of nature. Whether this impossible fortress will successfully save thousands of lives or ultimately fail under the pressure of the next great deluge remains a terrifying mystery. For now, the people of the Tohoku region live their lives in the shadow of the world's most expensive and massive coastal shield, hoping it never has to face its ultimate test. It is a haunting reminder that survival often requires sacrificing our beautiful horizons for the sake of absolute security. As sea levels rise globally, the entire world is now watching Japan, wondering if this grey concrete fortress is a glimpse into the future of all coastal civilizations. To see more rare, fact-packed, thrilling stories like this, make sure to subscribe. We'll keep bringing you uncommon videos. Thank you everyone for watching.